where do you go to get prescribed if you have ADHD? And he was like, AIDS. And I was like,
he said AIDS?
What? Yes. And he was like, you have AIDS? And it was a very short day.
As if that's the only illness anyone can ever have.
Exactly. And he was like, I didn't know you had that. And I was like, it's not AIDS, it's ADHD. And he was like,
Hey guys, welcome to another episode from Unwrapped Lollipops, your favorite podcast here. This is Hatun here in another episode, and this is my co-host Farah. Say hi, Farah.
Hi.
And today we have a very, very, very special guest, our first guest, our dear, dear friend, Jay. Say hi, Jay.
Hi.
Jay here is going to talk about her experience related to today's topic, so we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So, how are you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm feeling very healthy, very happy. I don't know what you say. I'm feeling good. I'm panicking. Farah, you do it. Set an example.
I'm just really happy.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I am really happy we have a guest.
And I'm excited that I'm on
Jay,
a podcast.
you know what? You have the best voice for a podcast.
Oh, yes.
You guys.
No, I swear. I wish you had a mic because that would make you sound a lot better.
Yeah.
But you have the perfect voice. And I exclusively prefer podcasts from people who have British accents.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
Yes, they'll sound so good.
Oh my God. I agree. I will start my own podcast.
What's your favorite podcast, Jay?
It's called This Is Mother Being. I listen to it a lot. It's about I listen to other podcasts too, but I listen to this one most because it's about this woman. She's Egyptian and she's a mom. And after she got pregnant, she really faced a lot of the stereotypes that women face in Egypt about how it's not okay to talk about feminine stuff or stuff that women go through because it's taboo, you know?
Is it like sex related
like the
problems
difficulty
and stuff? Or like giving
kind
birth
of,
and stuff?
you know how your vagina gets really wide?
Yeah.
And it's an issue, but you can't talk about anyone with it because you don't know what to do. Periods, you know?
Yeah.
Something very...
Yeah, no one wants to talk about
The normals.
that.
Yeah,
Is this the woman who wears a turban?
No, she's unveiled. I think she started with that kind of stuff. That's what she said. But then soon enough, she just started talking about all topics related to women, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sex topics mainly, you know, just safe sex. Is it okay to get oral sex? And what she does is she lets people send questions on her Instagram and she answers them, you know, sometimes in sarcastic ways and sometimes through a proper topic on podcasts.
Is it in Arabic or is it in English?
She writes in both.
All right.
So yeah, but mainly she does her podcast in Arabic. And that was another topic because a lot of people said, why are you answering in Arabic and in English, you know, with Instagram posts and everything? You know, live your family's life.
Yeah.
It's a degrading kind of saying to tell you stop being westernized, which is not true. She's amazing. She's not westernized. She's just trying to find or to put out content in English and Arabic just for those who don't speak Arabic, you know.
I just really hate when people if you have an idea, if you want to say something or you want to talk about something that, you know, like misogyny or stuff like that, people think that you're westernized.
Oh, yeah. They always go this is white people thinking. And it's not fair just because I want my rights, let's say. They just go
you
oh
guys,
my God, you're such a feminist.
The craziest thing, I remember, so this last Ramadan, we normally have TV dramas, specifically, exclusively for Ramadan, you know? And every actor gets this big show. So last Ramadan, there was this massive show about ADHD. It was about raising awareness in a very comedy way about ADHD, yeah. And since I came back to Egypt, I've been asking for someone like a GP who can prescribe ADHD pills. Because I was sure that I know my sister has ADHD. And right before I left, because Hatun and Khaled, you know, they had ADHD.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm pretty sure I have one. And Khaled was like, go, you have it and everything, but it's very minor. So I was like, okay. So I got diagnosed, but then I just left, I didn't really
But
get
the thing is,
prescribed.
Jay, there are apparently 7 types of ADHD. So what
Yeah.
implies to me might not be the same for you, or it's not be
Exactly.
totality.
I know there are different cases. So what happened was, I came back and I've been talking about ADHD. And I remember this one time I told this guy and he was like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, I know there's a lot of stuff that I can't do or understand here in Egypt. Like, for example, where do you go to get prescribed if you have ADHD? And he was like, AIDS. And I was like,
He
what?
said AIDS?
Yes. And he was like, you have AIDS?
Oh my God.
And it was
AIDS?
a very short day because
As if that's the
apparently-
only illness anyone can ever have.
Exactly. And he was like, I didn't know you had that. And I was like, it's not AIDS, it's ADHD. And he was like, what? And I explained to him what that was. And he was like, oh my God, don't tell anyone you have that, I was like, why? He was like, people might misunderstand. I was like, it's not a sexual disease, you dumbass.
It's literally a mental...
Tell him, yeah, you seem to have...
It's not a
Tell him you seem
disease.
to have a lot of experience with AIDS.
And it's just,
What is it?
It's that controversial, topics as trivial as ADHD, just because they seem similar to AIDS.
That is so
And
stupid.
people
You know,
are that
here
weird.
I've noticed that one of my cousins, I feel like she's autistic. Not that I'm, qualified to know what autism is and stuff, but I feel like she is. And so I wanted to stay out of it, I don't want to talk to her parents about it. But then I started feeling that, since she's growing up, preteens, you have so much bullying. And she moved cities and she went to a new school, and girls are pretty mean at this age, especially like when you're 13.
Yeah.
Girls are really mean. And I know she struggles. People make fun of her. Her own siblings make fun of her because she's like, she doesn't catch on to like facial expressions and stuff like that. So I spoke to her parents and I was like, I think she's autistic, but I don't know. Maybe she has something else, but you need to take her to a psychologist. Like get her, diagnosed. And they're like, yeah, she's just a little slow, or like they would just say stuff like this, And I'm there like, you need to help her, But it's not a thing here. If someone is struggling with depression, anxiety, or if someone is autistic, someone has Down syndrome, people don't think that it's a real thing.
I hate
They're
it.
just like, he needs to pray, or she needs to pray.
Yeah,
That's all you need to
pray.
do.
Yeah, I've had that a lot when I was depressed. I was depressed for the longest time. And whenever I used to tell anyone, like from my family or anything, they just go like, well, you're not praying, are you? And I'm like, it's not even about praying or anything, It was a whole thing. But mental health issues are just not spoken enough about in the Middle East or in South Asia as well. And it pisses me off.
True.
And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, and that we have this in the topics list that we want to talk about, which is like mental health and ADHD and depression and all of these stuff, because they're very important and people are just not talking about it.
Yeah, one of my cousins, I was talking to him about something like this, and he just doesn't believe, that there's a brain that could have a problem in a person. And a few days later, he had a headache. He gets migraines, so he was going through one of those. So I'm like, why don't you just pray? And he's like, you are mean.
You're right. Honestly, like these people just believe that illness can be just physical and not mental. And these people are stupid.
Yep.
I don't think they really comprehend the idea of mental illness.
I don't think
they
they
just
do.
think of it as you're very far away from God, that you've kind of lost the path of thinking,
Yeah.
You're focusing on stuff that you shouldn't be focusing on. And if you're focusing on God, then you're not going to go there. Your mind is not going to go down that depressed path.
Depression is mentioned in our religion. And also, about the Prophet Ayub, who was sick for the longest time. And basically when he was sick, he was very depressed then. I'm not sure about the details, but I remember one of my friends sent me his story, but I really don't remember it. And then when I read it, it made me feel so much better, because I don't know, no one even religious talks about it, you know. Again, they just go like, you're not praying, you know, as in like mental illness is
Yeah.
also not a thing in religion.
So, on the note of mental illness, we really wanted to talk about body image and like, kind of, what would you call it? Eating disorders, stuff like that. So, we really wanted to talk about that. So, before we get into it, anyone who struggles with body dysmorphia, struggles with their body image, or someone who's going through an eating disorder, such as whatever you're going through, we really urge you to be careful about listening to this episode, and in case it triggers you.
Yeah. Before we get into it, Jay, you know our university has this kind of like Facebook page where people post whatever they're thinking anonymously. And this is not
This is your
exactly body
obsession,
image
Jay.
kind of
Hatun, this is your obsession, this page.
It is so fun. I'm actually not on it
Really?
enough, and I always feel like I need to be on it enough because it's so hilarious. We read some of them in the last episode, or no, the one before that, but they're just hilarious. So this person posted on the page saying, it's a girl saying, or maybe a guy, I don't know. I am 5'3" and my boyfriend is 6 foot tall. I'm not dating him because of his height. If anything, I'd prefer him to be smaller. But I feel like all tall girls hate me because I'm with a tall guy. Opinions, please. On brackets, she said,
Yes, we do hate you.
wait,
Why?
she said, I'm not breaking up with him. We are in a long-term relationship. I just want to know. But yeah, I get what Jay's saying.
We do hate you because since me and Hatun are tall, yes, Farah, you're short, and we hate you. It's not proper hate. It's just envy. Because you know, tall girls, they just want taller guys. Everyone wants to be able to be hugged on a cold winter day, you know, that you want to have a warm hug
Short
with
guys
someone
can
who can
hug
actually
you,
make you
Jay.
feel warm.
They have
They
arms,
can hug me and
they
they
have
can
a torso.
my tummy feel warm. I want my ears to be warm. I want someone to make my cheeks warm, you know? Not my stomach or my vagina.
Short guys would not go for tall girls at the same time because they feel insecure. Their masculinity hurts. They cannot feel smaller than their girlfriend. I mean, some
No,
guys
not all.
are.
I have
Some guys, yeah. And good for you. If you're one of these guys, good for you. But honestly, the majority, I saw this TikTok about this girl who would go to guys' lives, okay, and she would just comment, you look like you're short. And each guy stood up immediately and goes like, I'm not short, I'm 6 foot, look at me. And he was like showing how tall he is.
Do you know why?
Oh,
Uh, so when I was in China, there was this guy, and I told him, I was like, it was a very innocent comment. I just realized he was very tall, but he had very tiny feet, like short feet. So I was like, how come your feet is much shorter? It doesn't go with your height, you know, that's weird. I thought it was very compact because I don't like huge feet. So I thought that was great. And one time he just got really mad, you know, even like that's, I'm sarcastic, but I'm actually mad, you know. He got really mad because between him and his friend, like his guy friends, it just got translated to he might have a small dick. And it's just weird because it was an innocent comment. Anyways, so it was very weird because he actually got offended.
What
Like
did he
it was a
say?
thing for him, you know? He was just like, no, I don't do that. Like my feet are pretty huge. It's just the shoes, you know? It's the type of socks I wear. And I
Poor
was like,
guy.
okay. And I felt really bad. And I was like, I don't want, he's a really, really, really cool guy. Like he's amazing. And he's such a leader, you know? He's really amazing. And I didn't want to
Because, you know,
piss
for
him off,
guys,
you know? Because
I've noticed
didn't
that
want
for girls, the first thing that someone's gonna say about a girl or whatever, the first thing that someone's gonna notice or like compliment about a girl is probably gonna be her looks, what she looks like. And that's not height, that's everything, including height. But for guys,
Yeah.
I think the only physical attribute anyone ever talks about is how tall a guy is. So it hurts them, I get it,
True.
you know. That's the only physical thing that people actually care about.
yeah. But also facial as well, like
Yeah.
face, beard, you know.
I've been okay about you know, facial features and stuff. I've been watching this show. I told Hatun about it. It's the Pakistani drama,
Oh, yeah.
and Oh my god, it
Mhm.
is so good. It's probably the best one I've seen so far.
Which one was it?
For the first
Yeah.
time, it's an actual like TV series in Pakistan that just doesn't talk about like marriage or like love stories. It's the
Wow.
first one.
What does it talk
So
about then?
it started off with this guy who, so you know how in Asia, like South Asia especially, and most Asia, I feel like skin color is like something that people really notice. And
All around
yeah,
the
and
world.
but it's like here, if you're brown, which we are, so if you're brown, people don't consider you as beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing as well in some
Yeah,
places
yeah,
in the
that's-
Middle East.
It's
Back
in
home, it's a
Korea,
thing.
it's
Yeah.
in China, yeah, in Asia, so in Saudi as well, it's definitely a huge thing. You know, in the West, it's mostly, yeah, in the West, people want to look tan. People want to look darker. But here in South Asia, people think
Yeah.
that it's a lot to do with colonization and also
Yeah.
like the whole Hindu situation. But generally, people think that if you're lighter, you're more beautiful.
Mhm.
So there's this guy who's born, and he's a baby and he's darker compared to his siblings, and his mom names him Parizad, which is like son of a fairy. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, so his
Sweet.
dad like makes fun of it, and he's like he looks like shit or something like that. He doesn't look like the son of a fairy, and like, why would you name him? People are gonna make fun of him, and people do make fun of him because he's darker. You know, when you look at him, he's like a really handsome guy, but people think that just because he's browner than other people, he's not as handsome. So the drama is like, it goes into how people treat him based on how he looks like, and then it goes into like, you know, how the gap between rich and poor and stuff like that. And then it gets into like gender dysmorphia, body image, stuff like that, and how this guy, he feels, although he's incredible and he's smart and he's a poet, but just because of how people, like, you know, think of him and how like they think he's not attractive enough, he's just like, you know, not happy in life, and in society he's not accepted. It's the first one I've ever seen so far who has talked about this.
Which I love. We really need shows like
Wow.
this, and we need to normalize these topics because honestly, it's 2020, almost 2022, and people need to let go of this stuff. And that's why today we wanted to talk about body image.
Yeah, so you know what really pisses me off is condescending compliments. Like backhanded compliments.
What do you mean?
Like someone being sarcastic, like trying to say something, oh, like good for you, you know, like, oh, you're pretty for a Pakistani, or you're pretty for a this, or you're pretty for a that. I hate that. What do you mean? Is that a compliment?
Do you
No,
know
it's not.
what
That's
really
so
pisses me
weird.
off about when you mentioned like people need to be more aware of like, you know, normal issues and be okay about it. I really hate fucking trends when it comes to this stuff. It really pisses me off. Like that show about ADHD that I told you about, okay? It was for Amina Khalil. She's a really hotshot actress over here in Egypt. So pretty, you know, into yoga and all that kind of jazz. Anyways, after that show came on, all the influencers, all the people who want to seem like, I am so freaking educated, I am top notch, I am A-class, you know? They're just like, you know what? I have always been an advocate for ADHD. Very difficult for these guys.
Oh,
you know what? I
God,
feel so
please
bad.
no.
And then others will be like, oh my God, I've had ADHD for so long. I'm so glad people are talking about this. And it's just,
I never spoke
and I
about
never
it.
spoke about it.
The
I don't know.
accent,
I just
Jay.
did an American accent. I'm
American
just trying
accent.
to. No offense, yeah, but it's just. It just came off like that because the girl had an American accent.
Okay, Jay, has anyone ever like given you like a backhanded compliment, or like
oh, Jay,
something that's
you look
condescending?
very healthy.
Something like that? Like, think about it.
Yes, actually. So when I first went to uni, I met Khalid, okay. Actually, I'm not going to name names. I met Khalid and some of his friends, you know? And
Just say it.
Just say, yeah.
Khalid is not on
Exactly.
social
So I
media.
met Khalid and
Yeah.
some of his friends.
Somehow.
And then we were going out and we were like, you know what? Let's get dressed, Jay, and let's go out. I was a bit overweight then, and I was gaining weight. I wasn't losing any. So I was like, okay, I'll come with you guys. And I put on this really tight black jeans of mine, which got tighter, obviously, because I was gaining weight. But it looked really nice, you know, it really showed my ass, you know. So I wore this short black top. And when I was going out, I was like, you guys, I'm ready. A girl was like, one of his friends, she was like, oh my God, you have a really nice ass for someone like you. And I was like, thank you.
Someone
And I
like
was like,
you.
what do you mean? She was like, you know, like it looks like an athlete kind of ass. And I was like, I am an athlete. I've played volleyball all my life. And she's like, oh, you are?
What is an athlete?
Like it's
ass?
very like Islam kind of
someone's
ass.
gonna play something with
Islam's
their ass. Okay.
You know, it's very like
Okay.
it's like very perky, you know, it looks muscly, but it's squishy.
Like muscle.
Yeah,
mostly
but it's not
muscle.
like hardcore
I would kill for that
muscle.
ass.
And you're
I think we don't need to. Don't flash. We don't need to see.
so that was a backhanded. But then at that moment I was like, do I not look
It's
like an
fine.
athlete? Because I looked more overweight than I was because I was bulky because I had muscles. So I really wanted to lose the muscles that I had, you know, and I wanted to lose the ass. I was like, I want to have normal girl's ass, you know.
Why? You're North African. You're born with an ass. So like, what are you supposed
It's
to
your
do about
right.
Playing volleyball gets you a proper ass, though.
So, Jay, we just thought you might want to share your experience about this because you basically had a change in your weight throughout the years. And we thought, and you were telling me about so many interesting
Like everyone
stories.
else.
Yeah. And then you were telling me about so many interesting things that started to happen to you when you lost your weight. And not all the weight, but like some
Yeah.
weight. And so just tell us about this.
Exactly.
Stop. Okay, Jay, please like share.
I'm glad we've
share
been
your
friends for
experience.
years.
We'd love
I
to
get that she's just stupid. So, anyways.
Another backhanded compliment.
That's not backhanded. That's
Or was
just
it a
my
diss?
face. That's my face.
Like, I know you don't mean any offense. I know you're
Okay,
saying it in
Jay.
the nicest way possible. It's just, it comes across like that, you know? Anyways.
I'm just not gonna talk.
No, baby, it's fine. Okay, so yes, I've had changes in my body like since I was really, really young. I've always been a chubby kid, but I've never been overweight, you know. And by overweight, I mean like the normal weight for my age at that time, you know. I've never been over the normal weight of a kid my age. You get what I mean? So I've never been overweight. I've always been like
Mhm.
normal, but I've always been on the chubby side. So losing weight or controlling my food or that kind of stuff has always been a thing, you know, which was super annoying. I really hated that. But because I used to play sport as well, obviously being in a volleyball team, you had to always hit the gym, you know, just so you're ready for the next season.
Mhm.
And your fitness level and your weight has to be a certain standard, you know, you have to be a certain weight. You can't increase than a certain range of weight. So that always kept me in check. But then when I went to uni, there was no training. I was still eating very much, and athletes eat a lot, but they burn a lot as well. Because, you know, there's training, there's gym, there's all that stuff. So I was eating the same amount of food and less healthy food as well, because I was the one cooking for myself. Disclaimer, I cook like shit. So that was bad. And I had all the freedom in the world to just eat all the junk I wanted to eat. So I had all the freedom in the world to eat all the junk I can, and no one could tell me that I can't do that. And the best part about
That was great at some point.
I was far away from my family. I was meeting new friends. So the best part about that for me was that no one could tell me, oh, you gained some weight, because they never knew how I looked before, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that
and
is so
that
true.
for me was
I
amazing.
was so happy. I was over the moon.
Not that anyone should ever say that
Yeah.
to you anyways. I don't think anyone has the right to ever comment on
That's
your body.
true.
I hate
But
that.
see, I realized that it's okay if someone comments about my body. I can just comment on their body and make them feel like shit, just like they did it back. And I
That's so
realized that their
Yeah.
comment doesn't really affect me. It just kind of reflects what kind of person they are. So it makes it easier for me to kind of make a comeback, to show them how,
Mhm.
like it didn't really faze me, and I could just make you feel just as shit, Um, when I traveled to China, because when I went to China, it was amazing. I loved it there. I loved my experience there. And there were people from all around the world. Like, because it's very, very cheap, but at the same time, it's very technologically advanced. So life there is very clean, it has all the technology you would need in any first world country, but at the same time, it was at the price of a third world country. So a lot of people and nationalities were
Okay.
there, a lot of different skin colors, a lot of different body sizes, and people who come from very diverse cultures. Every culture has an idea of body shape and how it's perceived, and skin color and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the people around me, they just saw my body. So a lot of people would be like, oh my God, you have a really big ass. So in Egypt, when I was back home, that was a bad thing. Why? Because if you wear skinny jeans or like a tight skirt or like a tight dress, it's just out there. Your ass is out there. So it shows that you're a hoe because your ass is so big that it's
Yes.
the only thing and it's the first thing I can see when I look at you, because it's just very out there and you're wearing something so tight.
Yeah. Seems to be a personal problem for the person
Exactly.
looking at you.
So it's
but-
either you hide it, you wear something very, very, what's it called? Wide, like very, oversized
yeah.
clothing. So you can wear oversized clothing, but then you look like a fucking building, 4-story building, because broad shoulders,
Yeah.
big ass.
Jay, sorry, like one thing that when I was in Egypt, the one thing that I noticed I found super weird was that some girls would, like, they would be wearing skinny jeans, their ass is completely out, and they would wear the tightest clothes, but they would wear hijab on it.
That is a
Oh, yeah.
thing.
That's very common.
I just found that so weird.
That's very common here as
Because
well.
it defeats the purpose.
With Arabs, they would wear like the tightest stuff, and even if it's cold and they want to wear like a coat over it, they get the tightest coat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are you like overcompensating for like not being able to wear like revealing clothes here or something, and then your hair is
Like,
covered?
I liked it, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. They look hot, whatever. But like,
But that's
is
not the
this hijab?
purpose.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
the way we define hijab. Like, I think people don't really emphasize on hijab as like something to wear loose stuff, It's emphasizing on covering your head and wearing long sleeve.
Which is not the correct
Oh,
way.
it's
Yeah.
different in every country. So here, a lot of girls I've noticed, like, they would wear bigger clothes, but they don't cover their hair properly. Like, they could just like put a scarf that is sheer, the same as in
okay,
Iran.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's the same
yeah.
thing that they do there. So like, your hair is out, but if you just have a scarf over your head, and even if your arms are showing a bit, it's fine. Even if like your ankles and like your calves a little bit, that's fine too. But your hair is like, it's completely okay if it's out. So I think it's different in every
Yeah.
country. I just think that the girls were really hot.
It is very
So-
weird, and they are hot, obviously, but it's certainly weird. Yeah, but it's just a matter
So
of
yeah, you're in
perspective.
China.
Back to China. So so stuff like my ass, and it was a very like taboo thing, and I had to wear like oversized clothing to not show it, not tight clothes. When I went to China, and then I would wear something tight over there, like leggings, and it was so hot that sometimes I would just get like a t-shirt and I would cut it in half so it's not very long, so it doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
Or like I just have like my sports bra on and a very high-waisted leggings, and everyone would be like, they'd like hype you up and be like, wow, you have a great ass, that is one big ass, that is really great, what'd you do for it? And I was like, eat, just eat,
was just bored.
just eat. And that was a shock, because I was like, is this like a sarcastic comment, or is it like, you know, compliments that they don't really mean, pity compliments, but they actually weren't. They were actual compliments.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And that really
Yeah.
hyped me up. And then you can have a lot of stuff like that. I got really, really tan there, and people were like, wow, you've got a really nice tan. And that was a thing, you know? And I was like, wow, really? They're like, yeah, you look more Latin. You look like a Latin woman, like a Latina. And I was like, really?
Was it the Chinese people, like the
No,
locals saying
some of
that,
the
or was it
international
just...
people that were with us. And I was like, and
Yeah,
that was
okay.
obvious. I love Latinas, like they're so sexy worldwide. Everyone knows that. So I was like, what? I'm sexy? Don't say that. Come on. You know, it was really nice compliments. And it really just changed my perspective. And I just realized then that your body image is really just about your perspective. Because I can see people who are overweight. They are very, very much overweight, you know, very chubby arms, chubby thighs, big asses, you know, bellies and all that kind of stuff. But they look fucking amazing. Like, she knows how to carry herself because deep down, she
Yeah.
really is confident in the way she looks. She just likes it, you know? That's why she can really rock it with confidence, you know? Not because I want to be confident, but because I really am confident with how I look, you know?
I
Like,
love
if I
that.
saw
I
myself,
love that.
I would like myself, you know? I would want to meet me. And that was the kind of perspective that I started adapting after China. I really started not caring about how my family sees my body, and I really just I didn't even concentrate on anything. I just did nothing. I was just happy with how I looked at that moment, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to stop wearing leggings and dark clothes and oversized clothes all the time. I'm going to start wearing jeans,
Mhm.
skinny jeans. I'm going to start wearing normal tops, you know, and I'm just going to wear that, you know, whenever I want, wherever I want, you know. I'm going to start putting on makeup. Makeup was a thing actually because I love bold lips, and I naturally have big lips. Not big lips, but they're on the bigger side, you know. So
Oh, you have big, beautiful
Beautiful
maybe
lips,
lips.
Jay.
I'm
you
so
guys, I can
jealous.
give you
Not
my
jealous,
number
just
anytime.
envious, but
Call
beautiful.
me. Yes,
All
all the
the
single
single
guys out there,
guys.
call me.
And they're beautiful. Like, I was always like so envious of how beautiful
Thank
you
you,
are. And you
baby.
would never let me make you put like lipstick on them. Dark one. I was
I
like, put it.
know.
I put it in mine on like 2 lines, two
Did you
parallel
not put
lines.
it because you felt...
So with
Why did you not
makeup,
put it
because I
on?
have very bold eyebrows, they're very black, and I have on the bigger side, you know, bigger lips. When I put a bold lip color, it just makes it even more out there, you know? It's the first
Pop,
thing you
yeah.
see, just pops. So I felt like it just brings too
Yes,
much
girl.
attention, and it's just on my face because my face was so chubby as well. And that was a huge insecurity of mine. I just didn't want to attract any more attention than it was already attracting, you know? Because with your
Yeah.
eyebrows and the lips, if they're already getting attention without makeup, imagine if I had some on, you know? It's just like an invitation to look more at my face. And I really didn't like how chubby it was. So I really didn't like these lipsticks. I always just opted for like transparent lip gloss or something.
Jay, can I ask you
Yeah.
something? Now, we can take this out if you are
Mhm.
not comfortable with it. But at some point when we were in uni, I remember you were putting so much pressure on yourself to lose your
Yeah.
weight, you know, even though at least me or like our group would never tell you like you're chubby or you need to lose weight. We would tell you, Jay, you're beautiful just the way you
Yeah.
are. I genuinely never thought that you were overweight. I thought you were perfect, you know. And you would cry to me sometimes saying, I need to lose the weight, Hatun.
Yeah.
I just want to know, where do you think that pressure came from?
See, I'll tell you, it came from a lot of factors. So, number one, obviously my family. And it was my family, it was myself as well. Because when you grow up with your family and they have a certain way of thinking, involuntarily, you just adapt the same way of thinking because it's the same way everyone around you's been thinking. It's your environment, you know? And that was that
Yeah.
when I gained like 5 kilograms, that was a thing. Like, it was, oh my God, you are letting yourself go. Like, you're losing yourself. What's going on? What's happening? And it's like a dramatic event that you need to lose weight, you know? And it's just everything that anyone talks about. So
I don't know why it's such a thing that even if you didn't see someone for like 2 years, the first thing that they say when they see you, they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
you gained weight," or like, "Oh, this changed in you," or this.
God, I hate
And I'm
this.
like, say hi to me or like ask
Exactly.
How
about me
me?
before
How am I? Yeah.
you decide to
And
comment.
it's been a year since I had been home, and every time I would video call some of my friends or like some of my family members, anything they would just comment, I can see it in the eyes because it's a video call, obviously. They would just look surprised, and anything I would talk about, I can just see them staring in awe and surprise, and they're just like, did you gain some weight? We could be talking about
That was when you were in the
biscuits,
UK.
you know, or not biscuits. We could be talking about flip-flops and be like, yeah, that's a very nice flip-flop. About flip-flops, did your feet gain weight? You know, we could be talking about
What?
loofahs, and they'd be like, you know what, about loofahs.
I don't understand why people have to say it.
It's
Like,
just
why do they have to say it? I don't get it. Like, if you're telling someone that you gained weight, like, I am someone, I look at myself every day, you know. I know what I look like. So you don't have to tell me what I look
Yeah.
like.
Farah,
It's like,
that's like when people come to me and say, "You are tall," and I'm like, "I had no idea. What? I'm tall."
Yeah.
thank you for telling
They
me.
come
I'll
to
just
me like-
put that in my notes app.
Honestly, the amount of people that came up to me and said, "You are tall," and I'm like, honestly, never noticed. Thank you for sharing this valuable information with me.
So yeah.
I feel like because of so growing up, having like thicker eyebrows was not a thing. Obviously, early 2000s, everyone just has thin
Thin
ass,
eyebrows.
like Britney Spears eyebrows, right?
Yeah.
But growing up, it changed because pop culture,
Thank God.
obviously, it just changed. Everyone just wants thicker eyebrows. So now all the Arab brown girls, they're like,
Yeah.
yes, this is our time,
What's
you know.
poppin'?
This is our time to shine.
This is my
I feel
time.
like pop culture and like we adapt a lot of things from the West, like Hollywood and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Anything that's happening there, bodies that are glorified
Yeah.
and like idealized over there is idealized all over the world with like slight variations, obviously, but sort of the same thing, you know. It's always a trend, like
It's
in
a trend, yeah. Even body
early
types
like
are
1900s.
trends.
In 1910, for example, I actually researched upon this. I was like, body trends, like how did it change? So, like 1910, the ideal body was like round, soft, and having a small waist.
Oh.
Like just being, you know,
soft. Yeah.
curvaceous, right?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, that's exactly the words that they used for it. Then in the 1920s, it was petite, straight as an arrow specifically. So just really skinny and like tiny.
Oh God.
Then in the 1950s, it became hourglass again.
Oh yeah, like thick, thin, thick.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the 60s, it became straight again.
Oh,
Another
God.
10 years.
Yeah.
Then I skipped the other years because it was pretty similar. And then in 2010, it became ass. Everyone just wants an
That's
ass.
Kim Kardashian, yeah.
Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian,
Cardi B.
you know, all of these people, like everyone's Cardi B, not Cardi B, that Cardi B is like last decade,
Oh yeah.
like this decade.
Yeah.
And now I feel like in this coming decade, I feel like it's going to be being really skinny again because all of these celebrities like Kim K, all of them, they're getting rid of their BBLs. You know, BBL culture was so huge in the past 10 years. So many girls have gotten
get it.
BBLs, and it's like one of the most worst surgeries to get because it has the highest rate of like fatality, like you can just die.
Oh God.
And the things people go through just to have a big ass and a small waist.
God, never. How about we inject you with some genes from our side of the world? Maybe you get some ass. You know, that's okay. So I know with me it doesn't imply as much, but I really get where Jay's coming from. I remember when I was 16, 17. Okay, I've always been not petite, I've always been very tall, but I've always been like weight was never a thing to worry about for me. But somehow my ass was big. Again, genes. And it was not big. It wasn't really that big. It was like all right, but it pops because I was very thin. And like I had a very small waist and then like I had an ass. So it popped. And I remember my whole family used to tell me that I needed to lose weight so I can lose my ass. And I used to think for the longest time that I looked horrible. And I used to research exercises to, literally minimize my ass. And then, like, a couple of years ago, I looked at my picture from when I was 17. And I was like, I had a perfectly good body. I don't know why I felt like shit for years. And I was literally insecure about my ass. And I was just only 17, just because of all the comments that were around me. So it's just, it gets to you, this pressure and all these comments. Like, you can try your best for them not to get to you, and you can ignore them, but they will always get to you, which is horrible.
So anyway, my second point was for like this self-consciousness was, you know how you said like you guys didn't judge me and you knew me as this way, even if I gained weight, you didn't really care. Well, you kind of sometimes did show it off. Like I could see it in my friends' eyes, even my new friends, I know my friends didn't care, but it was some comments like, my little teddy bear, I know you find it cute, but because like I do feel like when you say bear, it just comes in my head not as a cute person, but as like as a bulky person,
Yeah,
and when I'm like
giving,
I think I was giving like Tuba a massage one time, and you're like, oh, don't break her. And Tuba was like, no, it's fine.
I think I said that.
You did. And Tuba was like, no, Hatun, it's fine. And she got mad. And I know you don't mean anything. Like deep down, I know it just comes out, But then it's comments like that I'm just like, I'm careful.
Sorry.
Because it's so normalized in our culture to say stuff like that. Because here nicknames are like, if someone's overweight, their nickname or their pet name is gonna be like fat
or like chubby or something like that. And especially with language barriers.
Yeah, and people describe. Yeah, some people like describe other people as, do you remember that guy? And you're like, what guy? The guy who has like really big ears, or the guy who has a giant nose, or the really fat guy.
Other than like the guy who's doing this or doing that,
that's
like
true.
did this in his life.
Yeah, or the guy that we met here or here, but
oh god.
So it's stuff like that. It's like, I know my friends deep down, they don't care, but the ones who don't care noticed that I gained weight. That's how it translates in my head, because that's how insecure I was about that. So it's such just very tiny stuff, but when it comes from the people who really don't care, and I generally know they don't care about me gaining weight, and they're gonna hype me no matter what, when they notice that I've gained weight, I'm just like, fuck, like it's that noticeable, like you really need to lose it now. And I was just so afraid of judgment, and I wanted to have fun when I went back home for vacation. I didn't want to end up just eating salad throughout the whole of summer. I always came back losing weight. When I went back home, I'd lose weight.
I remember.
And everyone would come back from like their home country and be like, oh my God, I had so much food, the best food ever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, my food party is just about to start, because I just had salad all summer because I gained weight. And it was, I just hated it so much. And it gets really annoying, especially when you're like in a family gathering and you have like close family and very distant family members that you've never seen before. And then, when you guys are having tea and then this lady, the host, comes to give you like baklava, like baklewa, like sweets, and or like she's giving you whatever, like chocolate or just like small pieces with tea to have with tea. And then some distant uncle, for some reason, is just like, oh, you can eat that, from like across the room. And everyone looks at me and I'm like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And he's like, are you sure? And then people just start talking. Some of them will be like, oh, just leave her alone. Just because she gained weight doesn't mean she can't eat sweets. And then another person will be like, don't say she gained weight. And then, oh, but she did gain weight. Oh my God, Jay, what happened? did you really, oh yeah, I really wanted to ask you, how come you gained so much weight? How does it make you feel, huh? And I'm just like,
All these people look like watermelons. For real, I've
That's
had
true.
someone who said something like this to me, and she legit looks like a watermelon.
Yeah, and it just gets really annoying because I'm a person who doesn't like to be the center of attention. Not in a good way and not in a bad way, you know? I don't even like to get glammed up. I don't like, even now, even though I'm skinny now, I don't like bold lips because I don't like bringing attention to my face. I don't like bringing too much attention to myself, you know? So being the center of attention everywhere I went, it was just my nightmare. I just hated it. So I loved living on my own. And I loved, like, when I had a flatmate at that time in my second year, a lot of the times I would really feel so bad and I would just be in my room for days. And then my flatmate would just comfort me sometimes, you know, or she would be like, fuck it, let's have pizza, you know, or whatever. She was really nice in that aspect.
So, Jay, how do you feel did people treatment changed when you lost the weight?
Yes, they did. So that was kind of an eye-opening moment, really, because obviously when you lose weight, you kind of, especially if you become more comfortable in your own skin after you lose weight, you kind of rock your look better, you know. So I was being more comfortable when I started losing weight because I felt like I was back to my old self, you know. But then I was dressing better, I was taking more care of myself, and obviously I was gaining attention from a lot of people, and I knew that would happen. But some of the people who were actually close to me, like some of my friends, especially guy friends, they would be like, you know how they talk in a more flirty way. And they'd give like small stuff of mine more attention. It was kind of weird, and I was just like,
I've heard that too, that guys are only nice to hot girls.
Yeah, well, they were nice to me before, like we were proper friends, but there's a difference between being like the bro, like a proper bro, and being like a friend who happens to be a girl, you know, and a skinnier girl at that matter. So it really made a difference. And at that moment, I was just like, I was kind of dumbfounded. I was like, why is this a thing? You know, why being weird? You know, and it would make a difference because then also sometimes I go out with my friends and let's say my friend is going out to meet her boyfriend and she has to drag me along, you know, because of parent issues and stuff like that. Another story for another episode. And I go with her, but because I really dread going, I would just put on some grey sweats, an oversized white t-shirt or something. I'll put on a bun and no makeup and I'll just leave the house, you know, because who cares, right? But then suddenly this won't be like a messy look. It would be a cute, messy look, you know?
I get what you mean.
And I'm just like,
it's the same thing
and
as
then, like,
when people, you know, they post, I've been seeing this a lot, that they post outfits on TikTok, like Kendall Jenner, like wearing something, and then they'll be like, is this an outfit or is she just skinny?
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to God. But to be fair, I know you might come at me for saying this, but because I'm a hijabi, it doesn't work with me for that. You know, when I just put like a hoodie and some sweats and leave, I still look homeless.
No,
because I'm hijabi. I don't know why. It does not. It does not work. It does not work. Honey, that's because you guys love me.
Don't.
That's
I can hate you.
That's what you think,
Hatun. Still look you.
We don't love
That's what you think.
That's what you think.
I swear to God.
That's just what you think.
Just Hatun and her thoughts.
Trust me. Just accept.
Okay, fine, whatever.
I remember the first time Hatun came to Elms and she came to my apartment. She came with a sister. And it was the first time she came over to Elms and me and Tuba were going with her to the Sea Centre. And I think we were going to watch a movie. I still have the ticket. We watched Shah Rukh Khan Rais.
Oh, yeah.
And me and Tuba were just starting to getting to know Hatun, you know? So we met her up and me and Tuba were like, wow, your eyeliner, it's very like sharp and nice. She was like, thank you. And Tuba commented on her eyeliner. And I was like, Hatun, and your foundation, that's very nice. You're very white. And she was like, oh, I don't have foundation. I was like, me and Tuba looked at each other.
Yeah,
And we
Hatun
were like,
has
what?
Hatun, you have the most like clear, like you have really good skin,
Mashallah.
mashallah. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I put coffee on my
Thank you so
hair and
much.
I do this, like yoga on my skin, cucumber, honey, and all this weird stuff. And me and Tuba will be like stuffing our faces with Doritos and like sitting half naked on her sofa and just watching shit.
What?
And she's like doing masks and
Yeah,
all that
Hatun's
stuff.
20-stepped Korean skincare routine.
She's very high maintenance.
Micro
Not
needling,
anymore.
everything.
Guys, that's Hatun for like first year. First year, I just had, I had the
Energy.
patience to do all of this. Third year, I was just like, drag me to the library. I don't care. I want
Everyone's
to
like that at the
survive.
final year, mate. Anyways, what
that's
were we
not what we're
talking
here to talk
about?
about today.
You were saying something and we
God.
cut you.
I appreciate the compliments
You're
though.
very welcome, babe. What were we saying?
When you lost the weight and how guys
Oh
were
yeah,
talking
that
to
was
you.
different. And some girls as well. It's like you'd see, like I'd go to a birthday and then my friends would see me, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you look great!" Even the girls, they'd act even nicer, but they were already nice, to be fair. But they'd act nicer, and it's like they're showing me off in front of their other friends because I look super nice today. Because it's like if you have really nice looking friends, it's a thing, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely
feel
a
proud
thing.
of them
People show you
somehow.
off if you're more attractive.
Yeah. A lot of people showed me
So
off
petty.
more.
So I hate that.
And I honestly don't mind. Like, I can agree. I look at my old pictures and it's a matter of perspective, you know? Some people like plus size bodies, which is absolutely fine. Some people are very comfortable in their plus size bodies. And at some point, I was very comfortable in my plus size body. And that's why I stayed plus size for quite like 3 or 4 years, you know? I was comfortable in it and I just didn't feel like losing weight. And my family would nag me about it and I just didn't want to. And then I automatically started losing weight because I wasn't having that much food. I just didn't feel, I kind of lost my appetite at some level. So I wasn't having that much food, so I started losing weight. And when I started losing weight, it kind of got me going about losing more and more. And I just lost a lot of weight. And since then, I've just been carrying on. But it just happened when it happened, you know? I
Yeah.
let it go. And
Just organically.
it was at that time, yeah. And then, so I really don't mind when someone's just like, people get very awkward when they're like, you know, it's not like you're not pretty now. You've always been pretty, but you look prettier now. It's all right. It's fine. Like for me, after you feel comfortable in your own skin, you realize it's fine if you didn't find me prettier then. If you find me prettier now, you know, because it doesn't mean that I wasn't pretty. It's just a matter of perspective, you know.
Mhm.
I find you that your face features are, and I find that myself, I find that my facial features are much more clearer and they're bolder and they're more sophisticated when I lost the weight, you know, with my jawline and my nose structure, you know, my lips, my cheeks. And that's what I like more about my face looking slimmer, you know, it looks more sophisticated and my features are more bold, you know, in a nice way.
A lot of times
I feel like guys are gonna go hit on Jay after this episode. They're gonna be like, "Who is this girl? She has the ass, she has
Agent
the
Elf.
lips, she has the eyebrows."
I
Who
was
is
just
she?
gonna say I would love,
Yeah.
however, you know, I love the face now, but I loved my ass before, you know, before I lost weight. It was just easier to twerk, to be
Had a
very
great
honest.
ass.
You know?
easier to
Very
twerk,
much
Jay.
easier to twerk.
We do belly dancing at my
And
house.
I know, I remember that. And I remember also when I was belly dancing as well, because you know, you move your hips. It's also like in salsa dancing, you know, Latin dancing. You move your hips and you swing it like sideways and belly dancing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I am really good at belly dancing. But when I was more curvy, I had more
You
curves. I had more curves. So you can actually see my hips side to side, you know?
Yeah.
And my ass.
I have videos. I can see.
And my ass would like, you know, you could, this vibration or this like jiggle, you do it.
I'm pretty sure I have
And
them
it's
too.
like
We're gonna have
fast
them
twerks.
forever.
Yeah. But these were horrible ones. I
100%.
had horrible
I'm
top ones.
100% sure the guys are like,
Oh,
where is
stop.
she? Who is she? We need to
God,
find
no.
her.
I found it really
But
weird
yeah.
when I heard that Larry was like, Jay's hot now. And I'm like,
He
Yeah.
is so
He said
cute.
that?
He's
And I
so
was like-
cute. He said that to my face.
That's
He was
not-
like, why weren't you like this when we were in uni? And I was like, you know what? I'm saving this for masters so I can meet another guy. When I travel for masters, I'm going to have another guy hit for me, much more mature men who are doing masters. But yeah.
so I wanted to ask you something. Yeah. So, yeah, what would you say to your younger self after having all of this experience and perspective, obviously? Like, what would you say to your younger self?
I think I would encourage her and I would educate her and allow the surrounding environment while she grows to not to dictate the way she or put her in a frame, a body image frame, that this is good and this is bad, this is pretty and this is ugly. I would kind of just encourage her that having confidence in the way you look, the way you dress, the way you style your hair, you know, the way you shave your hair if you want to have it shaven, you know, just the way you carry yourself, however your body image looks like, you just need to be confident about it. If you're confident, you're going to look super pretty, super sexy
Confidence,
all the time. You
it's
know?
everything. That's why,
Exactly.
especially in
And
guys,
it's so cliche.
yeah.
Sorry.
Especially
Go
in
ahead.
guys, how
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh, he's so, what is that word? Charismatic?
Yeah.
Something like that. Charisma, someone that has
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
people like guys like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he looks
Yeah,
like.
charismatic.
A lot of times some
Yeah.
guys are like so attractive and they like
Or
look
confident
perfect
and
and stuff,
daring.
but when they
Mhm.
speak
Not
or
too
just their
much.
presence is not, it's not it.
Yeah.
So confidence in the way you present yourself is more important than
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would really just encourage her to be confident in however you look. And I think she's going to reach the mental state that I reached after, like in my third year of uni, you know, where I just didn't care. And I kind of just wore whatever I wanted, had fun, didn't really care much about how I looked. And that was the happiest time I've been with my body image, you know?
Okay, Jay.
And that's how I kind of let go and started losing the weight and started taking care of myself, you know?
So to end like on a positive note, like what is the best compliment you've ever gotten?
Pamper yourself. Wait, what?
Compliment.
or advice?
What's the best compliment?
I've received
Yeah.
you smell really nice.
Oh, I love
Compliment,
that.
not
That's my favorite compliment. I love
Yeah.
that. Because everyone can smell of perfume, but people who actually smell nice, like when you kiss them or like you hug them, they
Yeah.
smell of like cream or like shower gel, you know?
I feel like I
love when
always
someone
remember
compliments me.
if anyone ever says that to me, I just remember if someone said that.
Same. I love that compliment.
All right, guys, that is the end of this episode, and I hope that you
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys are subscribed to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because I feel like a lot of you are listening from all these new countries, but no one is really subscribed and no one's following us. So guys, please follow us, please subscribe to our YouTube, like us, please comment on our videos, and that's the end of the episode. And Jay,
Thank you, guys.
we loved having you. Genuinely,
Oh.
such an easy
We loved having
conversation.
you, and thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here.
and-
Thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed this.
And we just want to say for you all, just love your bodies, whatever it
Yes.
looks like. Just feel the confidence, and just, when you feel yourself, everyone can see it. And when you're confident with how you look, everyone will pick up on that, And it's not about, honestly, it's not about everyone. It's about how you feel in your body and how, if you're happy with it or not. And that is just the best thing ever. And weight does not matter.
That's true.
So thank you for listening, guys. And thank you, Jay, for coming here. So
Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye bye.